All right, let's talk about Nvidia and its earnings. I think everybody knew that I had some calls on it, and at the end of the day, yesterday, the last thing when I was here yesterday, the last thing I'd said, you know what, if Nvidia comes down, I'm not too worried about it because I think Nvidia will get gobbled up. Now, it could come down lower, but I do think it'll get gobbled up. So it's not something I'm just going to trade in and out, in and out, in and out. I don't really have a stop on it right now. We're below the trend indicator right here. And if you just look at yesterday's candle and so far today's candle, nothing spectacular. It really looks like it could come down lower, doesn't it? And we have this little gap right in here around 109. And if it does, and I would say down 108 maybe it gets, if it does, then I'm going to look to add to it down here. But I don't believe that Nvidia is going to die on the vine. That's just my belief. Might not be yours. Make sure you trade by your rules. Very, very, very important. And I'll look to be adding to mine when it goes down and we start seeing buyers step in on this, okay? Now that could change. It could change if something got really crazy. But for now, that's the way I'm going to handle it because clearly I'm not bullish on it, or clearly I'm not green on it. All righty. Thanks for being here, everybody. Forgot to mention today's date is August 29th, 2024. Market's not open yet. This is our pre-market charts and targets, and this is Rick talking. So let's look at the SPY here real quick. I think the SPY is doing okay. Nothing bad about it. Everything is still lining up. Price is still above the T-line. T-line's above the trend indicator. We got a little wacky here. We kind of broke that price above the T-line thing here. It could have been bad. We could have had follow through. That's what we really need. And that's not to say today we don't have follow through. We could. This is nothing to be excited about at this point. There's not much at pre-market you should ever be excited about, to tell you the truth. Pre-market it's just not much there. So let's let the market get open. Let's see how the SPY is going to handle itself. Will it stay above the T-line? Will it come up and try to challenge these highs? Or is it going to come down and challenge yesterday's low? If it challenges yesterday's low and it starts breaking down, a few spots that just stick out to me as targets is going to be the 50-period moving average right there. And then about that line right in there, whatever that line is there. And it's just coming down here and hitting this doji right there at the 50-period moving average, that gap right in there. So that's very, very possible. Qs, this is why we want to just follow the chart. You know, we want to follow the chart and trade. And sometimes we want to follow the chart and sit. And as we look at the chart, as traders, we want to learn when that time is. And that's something you learn. It doesn't take very long to learn that, believe me. But you want to learn that. You want to learn like, well, wait, man, hold on here. Maybe I better lighten up a little bit, fewer positions, smaller positions, or maybe just cash is that. So that's one thing one has to learn as a trader. So here's the SPY. We're clearly moving down here still. I'm sorry, the Qs. Did I say SPY? I meant Qs. So here's the Qs. We've got this downtrend. We're now below the 50-period moving average. Price is below the 50. Price is below the T-line, and it's just kind of hugging up with the trend indicator here. So right now I don't have a lot of faith in this until the bulls come back in. We break down through this level right in here, and this level is also the 50% level. If you look at the top over here on the 11th, and then the bottom down here at the 5th, August 5th, that from here to here, this is the 50% retracement. You know, what we probably should do too is we should look at a 50% retracement of this current move. And that puts you down here very near the dotted deuce of 456. So if we continue that downtrend and we break through that 50% range, we're headed down there. It's like climbing down from a tree. When you put these lines up, put them up where you think If you're using price action, Fibonacci, or the lines that I use here, which are quadrant lines, you put those up there, and then as price falls, you know right about where it's going to fall to, and it'll work out. It'll surprise you how it'll work out. And it's the same going up as well. The diamonds here, well, I don't know. Diamonds looking pretty darn good if you ask me. So what we've got is a bit of a mixed market. Diamonds look like we're up, and away, really. I think we've challenged these tops. I think it's doing a pretty good job. It hasn't yet put those tops behind it, but until we have a candle that says we're not going up, we're going back down, or sideways, I'm going to go with what the chart says here. So right now, potentially higher, potentially sideways. I don't see any reason to go down at this point. Price is still above the T-line. T-line still above the trend indicator here. So right now, all seems to be working here. Let's look at a few charts. How much time do I have? I feel like I killed a lot of time here. Maybe. Let's take a look at VRT here. Or not. Maybe that wasn't one. There we go. Hey, Chewy. Yesterday, we talked about Chewy, and man, what a nice move. I know some folks here at Hit and Run got into Chewy. I don't know if they're still in Chewy, but super job getting into Chewy. And now today, we're putting an inside day. I still see targets of, coming back up to that 30 and low change, 31, 32, and then we'll worry about what's after that when we get there. But Chewy's looking fantastic. If Chewy was to give a little bit of a pullback, that would be awful nice. Here, let's do this. Let's put it up over here. So if Chewy was actually to walk along this way, or even, if it wants to move up and pull back into here, that would be a great entry if you're not in it. If you're already in it, just keep moving that stop. Keep rocking. Good job on that one. Take a look at CROX. I love the way CROX is setting up here. Pop up. Here, let's get this pin out here. There we go. Nice little run here. And this is what we call a T-line run. See where price never closes below the T-line? I call that a T-line run. We've still not closed below the T-line. Not yet. Still up there. And here we've pulled back, let some buyers come in at a better price, make them feel good. Here's the buyers. They're still working. It's a tiny little piercing candle right here. Nice inside day, nice inside day. We're looking for that next target of 149.5, almost 155, and then maybe 160 and some change up there. Cold. This is setting up. If anybody's watching Cold, this is a short for natural gas. Right here we've got a good cup, and here's a nice little handle. Other folks may look at this as a J hook, which it is. That part of it is a J hook. And right up here is the target, 109.50, and it's the 200 period moving average on the weekly chart. The weekly chart is a rounded bottom breakout. And you can see where this actually would be a good one to print off, put on your wall if you want to follow what a rounded bottom breakout is. And it doesn't matter what time frame, everything inside it is the same. So here is where it became a rounded bottom breakout. It rallied up. It came back and tested the 50, rallied right up to the dotted deuce here, danced around the dotted deuce, back down to the 50, and now it's coming back up to come up here and check out that 200 period moving average. What are we looking at here? About a 30% trade on this, so let's keep Cold, K-O-L-D, on our watch list here. PANW, check it out. 3-8 trap. This is what you would call one of those charts where I call it a gap and trap. So where we gap up and it pulls back to a 3-8 trap. It's also a chart a lot of people might might call, in fact, a couple weeks ago we were talking about this, kind of an ignition type chart where we just get this bullishness, 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 sort of that ignition. And you can look at the volume and see the volume is helping with that ignition, that fire, that explosion, that bang, we just go up, whether it's in a gap or multiple candles, okay? And that's worked out very well. And now we've pulled back for a rest, and here we are at the 50 period, the T line and a 3/8 trap. We came down and stopped with a bullish engulf. We put in a little doji. Let's see what today does. Right now, if you're not in it, I would probably be pretty darn excited. I'm just over 350.10. That would be very nice. Must hold over the T line. If it doesn't, it'll come down to that dotted deuce, and if that doesn't hold, then it's going to come down to the 50 period moving average here. So real nice chart here. Nice little what I would call gap and trap. CMG, I think a lot of us are in this, and that's looking great. Yesterday, it came up to that dotted deuce and 50 period moving average, and it kind of stumbled right there. And that's perfectly normal. 100% absolutely normal. So it rests a little bit. Buyers are trying to come through. It doesn't, this candle this morning does not mean we're going to get through that area. We may have to bump that area a couple of times. We might even have to pull back at closer to the T line and get that running start. Once it does, this 54, these two lines right here, this represents the 50% retracement from top and bottom. So that right there is my main target. And then the setup would set up again after that, looking for 61 and 63 and some change up here. So lots of nice charts out here. AVPT, look at that, AVPT. Nice gap up. Now let's do this. Boom. Nice gap up yesterday, inside day today. So, you know, when a stock gaps up, this right here no longer matters. Everything underneath is done. It's cooked. Say goodbye, wave at it. It's not important anymore. It's all about what happens right now. Right now, yesterday, we had this gap up. The gap, for the most part, held. It's off the top, but for the most part, it held. Now what we want to do is trade against this candle. Below this candle, you wouldn't like it because you're getting back down here to where it was. You don't want it back down there. So 11.17, 11.20, 11.15 in that area, you don't want it to go below there. So now it becomes tradable to the right. Wait for your candle pattern, wait for the setup to the right. Pizza is back in the game. I got shook out of pizza here. I was stopped out, took a loss on pizza here. Now pizza's back in the game here. Big pop up, nice consolidation. Targets are still up here, 52, 53, 56, 57. Rounded bottom breakout here on the daily chart. You know, I have way more today than I thought I was going to have. Let's do Apple. Apple's still moving up here. Apple looks like we're headed to that 332 and a quarter. And then I'm just going to say we're headed to that 337.50 area up there. And I can say that, the reason I can say that and believe it is because all we have is a chart. All we have is the trend and price action. Really, everything else comes after that. And if the trend is moving up, and I always say, a trend is a trend until it's not. Well, until it's not a trend, it will be a trend. Price will continue to climb higher until it doesn't. And since I can't predict what will happen, what I'll have to wait and do is allow price to do what it wants. And if it wants to do something like that, we'll be able to see it. We can see it here. Remember, the entry is here. let's see. And the money, and you know, if you close it out, the money you make is right there. So I'm not going to try to pick the top. And you guys all know I can't pick the bottom the way I buy. So it's that middle goodness where we make our money, right through there. So let's allow that to work, okay? All right, ladies and gents, thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate it. And we'll see you guys here in about half an hour when the market opens up in the trading room. Later.